Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH1502, and this is the first video summary for the lectures for 2017. I've written the lecture for the first week back after the Christmas break, and what we're going to be looking at is the idea of participation and engagement. It's a crucial, central element of community media and the way that we think about community media and community engagement. And what I've done is I've written a set of notes, which I've actually culled from a lot of notes that I had when I was putting together some research. So it's actually quite detailed. There's a lot of reading in there, but I thought it'd be useful because it's from a number of different sources, and kind of participation's talked about in community media across the board. So it's quite a wide range of different types of sources and different issues and different examples that we can look at as well. So as ever, I've put together the PowerPoint presentation, lots of slides. I'll even try and dig out some clips if I can. I've not done that yet, but I'll have a go and see if there's anything that we can watch which might be useful as a follow-on. So the main issue with participation and engagement is to think about the way that citizens or members of a community are empowered and that they have that they're able to make a contribution to the decision-making process which impacts on their lives. So it's a kind of self-determination. So there's a strong civic element, a strong social and civic element to what participation is and what community media does to support that sense of participation. And in a way, it's kind of the objectives of community media is to transform people's expectations about their sense of empowerment. A few weeks ago, when we looked at the literacies idea, we looked at, and maybe before that, we looked at the Sherry Arnstein idea of the ladder of citizens' participation. So we'll recover that and recap there. So the idea that on the one hand, people can be completely engaged and they're making the decisions, and on the other hand, it's kind of like it's like a therapy. It's like they're patted on the head, and it's a kind of going through, corporate and large organisations just go through the process of consultation, but not really actually empowering people to have a say for themselves and to determine the outcomes that they want for their own lives. So the idea is that this kind of sense of participation is a very social thing, and we'll look at introduce some ideas about the way things like crowdfunding and time banking have kind of used new forms of social media technology, Web 2.0 technology, to kind of change and shift our idea of how participation in social and civic life is decentered. So, I mean, a useful example off the top of my head now is if you look at things like Ubers, or Deliveroo, with apps, being able to phone for a delivery or for a taxi or a service, it removes the kind of centralised authority from the process of managing these services. So can that, by extension, kind of be developed for things like the health service or for education? So it becomes a kind of self-learning, engaged kind of process. Now, on the one hand, this is kind of very optimistic and utopian, that social media and technology will provide the answer to many of our social ills. On the other hand, our job is to be sceptical and critical of these issues and to hold them to account and question them, because underpinning this is an ethics and an ethical regime, a set of questions about what we mean which is good practice or a good way to organise our lives. So we'll look at this in terms of the sense that technology and participation is a kind of levelling out, and it's a decentralisation, a de-hierarchicalisation, and it's about the product and it's about the process, but they're separate and they play different roles. There's a kind of sense of rebelliousness which comes with community media in this way, which kind of says that it's our decision. We're going to make it regardless of whether it's the right or the wrong decision. It's our decision to make. There's a kind of obstinacy that comes with participation because you've got the power to do it. Obviously, it breeds this kind of sense of cynicism if your decisions and your interests get overturned and overlooked. So the way that we structure and organise the decision-making process in our communities is open to a lot of change and transformation. And the way that we make decisions can be radically re-evaluated and reconfigured. So, and community media can play a very, very important role in that re-evaluation. So all of this is detailed in the notes. In terms of reading for this week, I've posted, rather than any of the specific textbooks that I've listed, I've posted a link to a PDF for an article, which is about empowerment in health service. So it's something to see in action about how co-decision making and co-production can be used to empower people, and maybe that might be something that we come back to at some point. I'll look out for some viewing for us to follow on with as well. I've not got anything lined up just yet, but I will do over the weekend. So hopefully you've all had a great Christmas and a really good New Year, not too many hangovers, and I'll see you at the lecture on Tuesday morning.